Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Legacy Leaders. Today, I'm with Thomas Koerner of Hitch Go. You're probably wondering, why is this guy sitting in front of an RV? Well, he's an RV repair guy. He's got a really unique business that we're going to get a chance to talk about. But before we do all that, I'm going to let Tom introduce himself. So, sir, camera and the microphone are yours. Let us know a little bit about yourself and what makes Hitch Go such an amazing company.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. As you mentioned, my name is Thomas Koerner, and I've actually been in Silicon Valley, started out in San Francisco, the Bay Area, for 5 years, moved over into Oakland for about 10. So I was in the Bay for 15 years, solely working in technology, selling software as a service primarily, but I also got into some infrastructure as a service early on, which was really interesting to learn. So I've been in technology on the sales side of things for, the better part of 16 years. And I've been primarily in the startup world. I consider myself a startup junkie. I don't think I've ever joined a company after Series B. So usually Series A and even before. So I've done, excuse me, seed funding companies that I've joined and wore a lot of different hats. But I really, really enjoy the startup world, seeing the inner workings of the technology that's been built, how to operate the business, overall. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And then I started making like money. And then it's like, well, why would I turn that down? Why would I give all that up? But eventually, after so many different startups and so many ups and downs, and quite frankly, being one of the first dispendable employees when it comes to layoffs, which was COVID for a lot of salespeople, like high earning sales potential people. One of you are the first to go, and that hit me firsthand. And after that happened, I was like, no one's safe, especially in sales.
Yeah.
And when I had that happen a couple times over the course of COVID, I decided I'm going to take this into my own hands and go after my own venture. I'm not the most I can play with SaaS products all day, every day. I can reconfigure them. I can implement them. I can do everything, but I'm not a coder. I'm not necessarily a tech genius when it comes to getting my hands, into the weeds in that regards. Once to build it from ground up, I can do it
Sure.
once it's built. So I decided to find a business that I was passionate about, to a lifestyle that I was passionate about. And then actually COVID had a really positive impact on too, because of the financial impact it had on people. The RV industry actually did have a pretty substantial boom in used RV sales and the mobile lifestyle, because everybody turned into a remote employee. Even my wife, teacher, had to figure out a way to do it mobily, like on the fly. It was very impressive that these education systems did that. And when everybody realized they could do that and basically have no bills by living off the grid or just very minimally on the grid, I saw an opportunity and I wanted to jump at it. And my family's been in RVs since I can't even remember. So I've always been, had these in my life, always been passionate about having one of my own. And now I have two, one on each coast, and I live in one and operate out of it as well with my headquarters here. So that's kind of how I got here. And anything you want to know, I'm happy to fill you in on more.
No, that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, but think about what you said. You took a lifestyle that you really have a passion and a commitment to in the RV space, right? And then you realize there's a technology advantage I can bring to a market that I'm passionate about. So explain a little bit more about what HitchGo does so people understand how you took a passion and technology and made it into what it is today.
Yeah, thanks. Great question. So what we do is we do mobile RV repair. So the biggest challenge, and one of the reasons the market of owning an RV, and they say the same thing about boats, and the best day of ownership is the first and the last day you own it. Like, that's the common joke for boats, RVs, whatever. But really what it comes down to is that it's such a challenge to, and this is where the name comes from, hitch up and go, just to go get it repaired, then hitch go back, just so you can hitch go to vacation. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to use that term as like an adverb because I just love it. So when you hear me say that, hitch go means you're hitching up and then you're heading to your next destination. And adding that element of just to repair your vehicle, to have to hitch it up, take it for, so I'm starting this business, at least my test market is Oil City, Pennsylvania. The closest actual RV repair place is Erie, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and 25 minutes on back roads from this little town I grew up in. And then the other one's up towards Pittsburgh, which is on the interstate, an hour and 40 minutes plus. And then you've got so few of them, it's getting in,
Yeah.
when it's not winterized, when it's not storage. I can't tell you how many times I had people reach out to me when I started this business in January, living in my RV, where everybody's reaching out, finding out about my business. And they're like, I can't wait to get it out of storage. I'll call you in April. It's like,
Yeah.
so that's a part of this business I had to take into consideration for this market specifically. But when you get to go to the people and actually say, oh, like almost, I want it to be on demand one day as like a DoorDash. Like you are at a campground, and this has happened to me locally. Guy's water pump broke, and he said, I literally just got here. My tanks are full. I don't have hookups, and I'm not going to shower for 6 days if
Oh,
somebody can't help me fix this. Well, I happen to know the person out at this, state park right down the road. She calls me and says, Thomas, this guy needs a water pump fix. Can you do it? I was there within an hour and a half. Water pump was running later that day, and the guy had a whole weekend of showering. That is something that not only allows you to continue to enjoy the camping experience, but by getting things fixed as they break, because you can, and you have that now flexibility with the Hitch Go business model, the depreciation of these vehicles, when you talk big picture about the market, they'll stop going down 50% in 5 years. Because 3 years, that's realistically how quickly these $100,000 rigs go from, that much money to 40 to 30 grand. Like it's a huge investment, and they just don't hold their value because they sit in storage, things break, they don't get fixed. And next thing you know, it's too far gone for people to reinvest their money or time into.
wow. Okay. So that's a whole different area of the business model that I was not even considering. I'm thinking of, all right, an RV needs help. Your team is dispatched. They go and fix it on site at the campground. They leave. Wasn't thinking about the impact of the overall market with respect to retention of value of that asset because it's not depreciating because of its failed water pump or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's take a real quick step back. So you have a network of technicians across a region or an area that are available for dispatch. And from the front to the back of an RV, you can fix just about everything, or are there things that they can't touch?
So right now it is just me because I just launched this year.
Okay.
So right now it is me managing this market for 2024. That's been the goal. And the goal will be to have a dispatch team under the Hitch Go direct employment, like for my markets that I'm going to serve myself as the entity. The other aspect, and we will go front to back, an RV, be able to fix everything. Right now, I don't advertise any motor work yet, although I do have a
Yeah.
diesel mechanic locally. I personally just knew I was never going to go to that level of being a mechanic. But being an actual RV technician, it is the true jack of all trades. You have to be an electrician, you have to be a plumber, a carpenter, you have to know the mechanical functions of the jacks and the lifts that you're going to be, keeping you safe, and the hitch that's going to be attached. Like you have to know
Yeah.
so many aspects that there's not even like one end all be all certification. I mean, there are certifications which I've been going through. There's multiple, and my website will turn into a facilitating device that will not only help you become one, if that's a career path for you one day, directly through HitchGo, or for yourself, because right now I'm trying to build the back end infrastructure for the network where we will
Got it.
solely be a HitchGo Tech Direct, whatever HitchGo Tech Direct is the holding name right now as I develop it. But HitchGo Tech Direct will allow anybody who is a certified technician or wants to become one go directly to Hitch Go, get themselves a profile, and anybody who's looking to get theirs serviced can go to Hitch Go and then find somebody in their local market.
Wow. Okay. So there's a lot of potential here because God, just drive down the highway. How many RVs do you see?
I've stopped on the side of the highway because of people on this. I've been there. I'm the CEO of this damn company, and I've been stranded on the side of the highway because of gas, because you have to calculate the gas mileage. I mean, I drive a hybrid and I can tow 12,000 pounds. But what you forget is when you put 12,000 pounds behind a Ford F-150, yeah, your gas mileage 22 with this beautiful hybrid I have down to 7.
Yeah, it changes the
So your
dynamic a
trips
little
go
bit,
a lot
right?
longer when you have to stop. I mean, 100. Well, and that's the other thing on a business impact is you have to understand is a technology business that's a SaaS based model. You're paying for hosting, you're paying for SaaS products like Gmail and other things. When you have a CapEx high end business that's going to have a lot of gas, parts, labor, and then tools, like I tried to buy as many tools as I could, but you don't realize, like, I didn't realize I was going to need a rivet machine. I mean, I forgot why I would even need one. And then I go to my first job doing an awning and I'm like, I have to replace rivets because I have to drill them out to get it off. And so the next thing you know, I'm spending more money. I have to
Yeah.
reinvest in my own business without knowing, just to do the damn job to get paid, you know?
Okay, that's what we're talking about, right? So the challenges and lessons learned as a business owner. You're doing this on the fly, and I don't mean that to be derogatory. I think it's
No,
incredible. You're building this
I
thing on
am.
the fly, right? So how are we building this on the fly and learning lessons and facing challenges? So the biggest challenge you've faced so far has been what?
Well, the biggest challenge so far has definitely been, I mean, the funding is always one because it's
Okay.
all self funded. Number one is always going to be money because I literally have to, earn what I eat right now. As a sales guy and as somebody who had a base salary plus double,
Mhm.
OTE, I never had to worry about when I was going to be able to pay my bills or anything like that. When you completely sacrifice that and you go to every dollar you spend pulling out of your savings, or you get to the point where you start having customers, I can't even tell you how many deposits I've made from after having cash transactions, because as soon as I get a cash transaction, it's like, well, I'm hungry, I need gas, and there goes like a good portion of that job. And then by the time I'm going to go to the next bank, I've already had to get more gas. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah.
it's hard to even keep my books, because when I have some people paying with a check, some people paying transferring money in one way, shape, or form with PayPal and other different services like Venmo. And then I got people here in this local market who love cash. And hey, as business owner, cash is king. We all know that.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
put that baby in your wallet and you can go out right then and you can spend it. You can reinvest it in your business, or you can just go have fun. And that's where it comes into play. Stopping the fun when you have cash in hand and making sure you don't spend it before it's going back into whatever investment you need to make. And
Yeah, I think it's
that's I think the biggest one of the biggest things I've learned, aside from you know realizing you don't have money anymore, like
yeah.
period. It's making sure you're actually keeping track of the money, because it's so easy to not. I keep track of like my individual jobs, and I have like through different mechanisms, but everybody talks about their books being wonky. Well, in technology, when everybody puts in a credit card and it's a monthly subscription, annual subscription, it's so predictable. If you have
Correct.
a churn of customer, you know it. When you're doing this kind of model, it's job by job, project by
Yeah.
project. And if you don't keep track of it, you'll lose track of it. And I've lost track of jobs because I literally spent the money and then I was talking about a job with somebody else and I totally forgot. I never even wrote that job down because it happened on the fly.
Yeah. That's a whole different world, right? Because you're responsible for yourself, but as you're running the business, you're worrying about running the business.
Well, and when you're talking about funding, like when you come from Silicon Valley and you're used to venture capitalism, That's what I'm looking to do with what my big business model is, which is franchising and then targeting events and getting like proactively scheduling like actual maintenance at events. But if I'm talking about asking people for their investment, I got to be able to prove that I've made my
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky thing when you happen to work out of your truck or your RV and you're on the go all the time. There's a very quick opportunity where you might do a quick job and go to another one, and that one almost never existed because there's a quick hour job. You were in, you're out. You knew ahead of time what you were getting yourself into, so the job in your head was already done. It was more of a delivery than it was actually a transaction of any kind. You know what I mean? It was just kind of
Yeah.
like a drop off go. So I've had those kind of things, and that's what I've learned. You got to make sure you don't lose track of your own money.
Well, it's obviously it's a good lesson. We've talked earlier. Every business, no matter what size, deals with the same four problems, right? Time, money, people, or motivation. And your challenge with money isn't unique. I think the lesson that you're learning and trying to tell people is no matter what money is coming in, just make sure you know where it's coming from, and turn around. Where are you going to send it, right?
Yeah.
And make sure that there is a balance where there's more coming in than there is going out.
Yeah.
That
Well,
would be the key,
I
right?
don't think I've ever worked for a business that's had that problem of more money coming in than out because I've always worked for venture startups. So like that's not even a thing in my life. But when it's my money, it definitely becomes a thing real quick.
Okay. So how do you make that transition, Thomas, from having that security to all of a sudden now there's no security? What's the mindset that you have? Because I go with a lot of people that are starting their own businesses. There is such a mental shock of, well, I used to get a paycheck every other week. Now there's no paycheck unless
Yep.
I perform. So how do you change your mind around that kind of stuff?
My biggest thing was like getting just completely rid of excess spend. I mean, I was one of those people that even when I started this business, I was just buying, like making shirts because they looked cool and buying all this cool stuff that like merchandise I was going to sell or give away. Well, guess what? I gave it all away and I have nothing to show for it, no revenue or anything, but I wanted to get the brand out. I wanted people to like, in my
Hmm.
family to have some. So like that was excess spend that I didn't need to do. I used to be a guy that had 14 packages a week delivered from Amazon just for the hell of it because I didn't want to either go to the store or I just liked buying fun toys and I had the
Hmm.
income to do so. Now I cannot tell you, I can tell you the last thing I bought off Amazon because it was an awning motor. And before that, it was another awning motor. So those are the last two transactions I've made from Amazon, and they're both not fun anymore. They are directly for my business. And then every other transaction that goes out of my bank account or wallet, whatever it is gas, tools, food for me and my dog.
And
That's about
parts,
it.
right? And
So bills.
parts. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Parts. And I've tried to do and this is the other thing, to try to really become a reputable business, in my opinion, you want to be able to go to the job and supply the parts to replace them.
Yeah.
That's a big deal in like for a small business owner, because if you're talking about going to someone's location and having a $450 part ahead of your appointment, that's your money. You're either putting that on your credit card, you're taking that out of your checking account. That's the other thing when you have this type of business. It's not flipping on a subscription like it was for SaaS. That's great. You have hosting and
Yeah.
you got to pay for a lot of different things with SaaS, but you don't have to for each individual customer. If they flip you your credit card, a lot of places have freemium model. They have access to it before you even get payment. I can't do that. I can't give somebody a $450 part on loan because nobody's giving it to me.
Yeah, yeah. So that's an interesting dilemma. How do you coordinate that? So you know the make and model, the year of a particular unit, and you know what's wrong, and you guess
Yeah.
what you need.
So realistically, and I'm going to really try to turn the service model of just in-person service and flip that into transition this into service and sales to really start upselling people. Because when you are a jack of all trades and you walk through one of the RVs and they have a sink that's broken, well, guess what? All the doors you open to get to the sink are jacked up and the toilet's not like, I'm just saying that's another revenue stream. But just overall, when you're going to it, you have to do discovery questions just like you would a salesperson. So before you show up to somebody's place, and I had to write myself like a true like what I used to give BDRs who would do my, basic discovery, you know, what's your pain, what's happening, all that stuff. But in, RV terms, it's year, make, model. Do you
Right.
happen to have a VIN? VIN's a little less important. And then it is describe the problem you're having. Okay. Are there noises? Because you want to try to show up knowing what you did. Like the one guy basically said, this is my problem. It's shorting out, fuse is popping, blah, 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 over and over. And then I asked him, okay, did you buy that new? No. Okay, when it was used, did he have done any aftermarket? Because there's his friend, any aftermarket updates? And he's like, well, I do believe he replaced this water pump one time. And I was like, okay, give me that information. So I went in there, bought myself a pump, and I thought that was going to be sufficient. Well, this RV was 42 feet, I think, long.
Oh, that's a big
And
one.
it had like 3 water tanks. It was massive. And so I show up with this 3 gallon per minute water, sorry, just lost my train pump. And I get there, and first of all, I think I can troubleshoot it. I bought it just in case, but I think I can troubleshoot it myself. So what I do is we reverse engineer like the mechanics, kind of like when you live in an RV. I call it like the movie Apollo 13. You have to and they're like going through like which
Yeah.
one you turn on in which order. No BS. That's what you're doing to try to figure out what's going to trigger that to break. My uncle told me that. He's like, T, I can't run my coffee maker and my air conditioner plus my microwave or everything blows. And then I'm like, okay. So I learned that at a young age. So I did that with him, and we actually got it to fire up and replace the 15 amp fuse or the 20 amp fuse. Boom, bang, boom, and it's working. I think he even got a shower out of it. Well, he hits me up the next day. While I'm there, though, I look at the water pump. Well, his is 5 gallons per minute. This son of a bitch could pump for like a elephant hose if he wanted to. So he had serious water pressure. And I was like, well, just so you know, I could replace this now, but this will not give you the same pressure. Do you want to keep it this way? And he was like, well, my wife will kill me. So yeah, absolutely. If I go down in water pressure, like, we'll not be happy. So I end up going back to Rural King, replacing that, having to pay more of my own money. Well, money that he paid for the first fix. So like, it was just kind of a back and forth. So I was there the next day, ended up doing the full replacement. Then ipso facto, he gets through the rest of it. But it was just like, that was like 2 times I was in a store fronting my own money to be
Yeah.
able to even do a job. And what's going to happen if I get too busy and the like you said, the balances aren't working out, and this is very common for any contractor, it's give an estimate, take a deposit for parts, do it, get the job, and get paid. That's a real thing, and I'm not opposed to having to do that. I have
Sure.
had to, but if I want to keep my books as clean as I need to, I think to scale this company which means funding, I probably will need to start doing something to that level so that I'm not just swiping my credit card for 250
Yeah.
bucks, charging them 250, and then I'm not counting tax, and I'm not marking up my parts, because I haven't marked up my parts yet. That's a whole nother thing you could do, which I don't. So like, I'm figuring everything out, like you said, on the fly. I want to be as reputable as a business person without having a reputation quickly.
Yeah.
And by doing that, I'm actually probably hurting myself financially and just more like stability wise than if I were to be a little bit more stringent on my
Sure.
cost structure.
Well, there's a lot there that you're talking about, and yes, you want to find a way to get people to help fund what you're doing before you show up. I think you can figure that out with, like, I believe the deposit piece makes sense. The other thing is just how do you charge for your own services? So what's the value of, and what's the value of not having a hitch go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of hitch go, get it repaired, while you and your family are at this beautiful RV location, I'm going to come and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So how much money is it worth for me to come and show up and do this for you? I don't
Yep,
know the answer to that, but that's your value proposition, right? Is the
exactly.
ability to be on site while you're camping. I get it fixed. That way you don't have to take it all the way back to a dealership. And then what's a
Yes.
dealership call? What's a dealership going to cost to have that repair done? Right? I'm
And
assuming if it's anything like autos, cars,
yeah, a
yeah.
lot.
So
And it's even more specialized, so it's even more expensive than a standard. If you, even a dealership hourly rate at like a Ford, you would be surprised. A Camping World would probably be that or more, I would think,
yeah.
if not
So
significant.
your service and value is the secret to making you click, right? And finding that niche of individuals that want you around. I honestly believe a maintenance program where people will pay a subscription model for the season,
Yeah,
right? That to me makes a whole lot of sense because you get a chance to get money up front without having to front your own money. So,
yeah, that's exactly where we are trying to go. We definitely want to have a direct to consumer subscription model that will allow you to be a part of the Hitch Go network. And that way you'll either get discounted rates for having that subscription. But where the biggest piece, I think, for our revenue stream as a business is going to be with my expertise, which is going out and going directly to form partnerships with RV sales organizations, like the
yeah,
Camping Worlds, like where I bought mine, Boyer RV up in Erie. Like if I can get them to say, hey, every RV you sell comes with a first year included Hitch Go, because then not only are you giving them what say they usually typically on a use, let's say a 30 or 90-day warranty, boom, not only do you get a 90-day warranty, we have a partner. After that warranty, you call them direct. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you feel like you're even longer taken care of. That's a value add to their customer beyond just what HitchGo does, because they're already gift wrapping that for them as a value add, and then they pay me direct. You know what I mean? And then
100%.
I upsell the customer year 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. And the idea that every Camping World or whatever RV dealership, it's a value that they get a chance to offer up and make them separate than another dealership because they don't offer it. This is a
Exactly.
really cool business model and a really good opportunity for somebody who's trying to buy an RV. Oh, you guys offer HitchGo? All right, definitely thank you because that's a
And
service I need, or hopefully I never need it. But the
yeah,
fact that it's
exactly.
available
Just like
makes it worthwhile.
AAA,
Yes.
just like AAA, peace of mind is more valuable than anybody gives it credit for. And I'm a member. I always have roadside assistance. I told you I was stuck on the side of the road
Yeah.
multiple times, and Progressive was there to help me out. So,
Well,
and
you think about this. The idea of peace of mind for an RV owner has always been void because the, the complete pain in the ass of getting it opened, the complete pain in the ass of getting it closed, and whatever is going to break down or have a complication during the season, I never get a chance to actually sit and relax and enjoy my view and
yeah,
my campground because there's
yeah,
always something wrong. Well, if I have a partner or somebody that I rely on that takes care of that, that's the headache gone. That's the peace of mind showing up. And now I really can relax and enjoy my
yeah,
vacation because I'm not worried
yes.
about what's possible. I know if it does, I got somebody. I got a guy, right? I got a guy.
And that is really truly what we want HitchGo to become. And that is a proactive service. And that's what I'm saying is the real true differentiator of what I want to do with HitchGo. I want you to go camping to get your stuff fixed. You don't say, oh, we can't go to that NASCAR race because our air conditioner's broke or our refrigerator's broke. No, you say, hey, family, we're going camping. Day one, we're going to have a tech there. He's going to show up. He's going to fix this air conditioning. We're going to be in ice cold weather and 100-degree heat at Talladega for 5 days because I want to for my vacation, and you're going to deal with it and be happy. Because
No,
instead
that's
of
exactly
stopping
right.
yourself, we're encouraging you, plan it ahead of time. Call your partner HitchGo or just search for HitchGo and say, you know what? We need a new refrigerator. We can't camp without it. Pack that cooler up, pre-freeze it, and make sure that when you get up there, day one, Hitch goes there, refrigerator's in, we know the make model, we replace it, and boom, right from the cooler, rid of your refrigerator, you're good to go.
You're good to go. Like you said, let's be proactive problem solvers and just go ahead, plan your trip and go. Hitch Go will be there to take care of you.
Well, and
That's
that's
awesome.
the thing. Service revenue models are always typically not customer success with technology, but service typically, technician service specifically, is always reactive. Something breaks, go fix it. Well, RVs are pretty predictable. Cars, you pretty much know when things are going to break. And the last thing you want it to do is when you really, really want to use it. Just like every time I run out of water here, it's right when I want to take a shower, not do my dishes. No, it's when I want to take a shower to relax, is when I run out of water and I got to go refill these. I don't want that to happen to my customers. And if it does, I want to be there.
Yeah, you want to be the answer. That's awesome. Thomas, this has been great conversation. I want to appreciate it or tell you I appreciate you being on the show. A lot of really good insight. And what I've heard is pay attention to your money, know where it's going, and be a valued provider of a good service, and people will find you. And I think you've got an excellent opportunity to be successful. Look forward to seeing how fast you grow, too. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the platform and I can't wait to hear how it comes out and, continue to work with you.
Awesome, man. We'll see everybody on the next episode of The Legacy Leaders. Bye now.